Welcome to episode 10 of Nudges and Bridges. If you remember last time in episode 9, we were looking at the view from the blimp. And the idea was that if you take a step back, get a sense of perspective, that the world looks a little bit differently, and that can provide you a nudge to be able to look at things in a slightly different light. And the analogy or the metaphor of the blimp was that if you're floating up above a sports stadium, you have that sense of perspective of what you see going on below you on the playing field and how those virtues and values and character traits and dedication can apply there where you're looking at the game. But also, if you look around at City Hall or at the church or at the business or wherever, that it applies throughout. So it gives you a sense of perspective. So if the last one was about a view from the blimp, we're going to go even a step a little bit higher up, and that is a sense of transcendence. Now, this is a little bit trickier one for me to talk about here because the experience of transcendence is one that is highly individualistic, and it's also one where there is a primary source or a primary connection to a source of primary existence. It's kind of primordial or beyond us. It's not just taking stock or perspective of what's going on in our life, but putting yourself or feeling oneself at one with some greater power and greater sense of experience of life itself. This could be through traditional religions. Most religions would identify strongly with this. It could be with a non-religious spiritual experience. It might even be with something a little bit more controversially, perhaps, but something that has nothing to do with any of that, but where you find yourself so at one with what is happening that in sports they talk about the athletes that they feel like they're so at one with the activity that they're involved with, that the basketball hoop seems huge, or that the game slows down because everything, time has a different meaning of what it did before you had that kind of experience or that kind of depth of at oneness. So the notion of transcendence is one that obviously is going to be, just from that description, highly individualistic, but is also going to give one a sense of meaning, a sense of timelessness, a sense of being able to reflect, not just in terms of a perspective, but something that is almost beyond perspective. So it's going to be individual, but at the same time, I think that within each of us, there is some sort of an individual connection with something that is beyond our experience, beyond what we do in a daily life, and finding a way to connect with that, again, gives one perspective, but it gives you once more of an at one feeling with some greater thing beyond you. So just to bring us back up to date then, where we have been is in the 6 stages so far. We've got one more to go in episode 11 before we start applying them to specific experiences of specific cultural artifacts. We started off with an us-them kind of a perspective, then a rules-based perspective, then a golden rule or a relationship kind of perspective, then a sense or of experience of joy or as good as it gets, then the sense of experience of perspective, of the view from the blimp, and then today, the sense of experience of an and whatness with something that is larger than oneself, kind of like a universal feeling of transcendence. The next one will be how we move among those 6 steps. So that's it today. It's short and sweet because it's something that more for reflection than for discussion, but I hope it gives you something to think about, and we'll see you at the next episode.